Do you know, Jimmy and I have started watching the Beatles documentary, and it's like 7 hours long.
7.5.
It's good though.
Hard Day's Night.
Have you seen it? No, Get Back sessions or Let It Be. One of them two.
Yes, it's multiple parts, isn't it?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to teach myself bluegrass guitar, which is to my wife's. It's the most annoying thing to listen to in the world if you're bad at it, and obviously I'm bad at it, and it's the hardest type of guitar in the world. Not the hardest, but Get Back by the Beatles is essentially a bluegrass song.
Is it?
So I've been trying to learn that because it's quite easy. Yeah.
Careful, we'll get a strike.
Yeah, I think
Too good.
Yeah, so much like the Beatles will get a copyright strike.
I thought someone was going to chip in and harmonise or something, but no, just left me out there on my own.
It's more like not that wasn't Get Back, obviously, just general bluegrass noise, and my wife can just hear that most of the time.
Was that not the song from the film that we watched when you stayed with us last?
Deliverance, yeah, very close.
Ding 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 ding.
Yes, yeah. It's basically, so banjo is the other. It usually you got like a steel string guitar, banjo, like big boom 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 double bass. Is that what that's called? Very specific instruments. It's quite limited. No drums, you'd hate it.
Yep. To be fair, all music should just be drums.
Oh God.
It's kind of the drums are in. The percussion is played on the guitar. They're very percussive instruments, like the banjo.
I would say, Francis, I will see Danny's having to listen to bluegrass guitar, and I will raise her just having to listen to drums in our house.
Oh yeah, that's worse. Yeah,
it is worse.
At least there's a tune.
You don't have to listen to drums. I don't have an acoustic drum kit set up in the house.
Yeah, he has a electric kit, which I was sold on the fact would be quieter.
I assure.
It is quieter.
Do you know what? I'm going to set up an acoustic drum kit.
It's just still very loud.
You didn't let me finish, Jimmy.
Okay, go on.
It is quieter. However, it is still the same as going on a table.
Jimmy sounds better than that.
I'm
marginally.
I am legitimately going to set up my acoustic kit, and I'm going to see how long you last before you come running down to the pit and you say, "Turn that off." It's like the start of that Michael Jackson song.
I agree that would also be horrible, but it's like giving me two crap options and saying,
That is savage. You like, people think that you're this like lovely, nice person and that I'm a horrible one. You are ruthless. Absolutely ruthless.
I would say I'm very understanding as a life partner that I allow in my house all the time.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, before we have a full-blown domestic dispute, should we start?
Welcome to the Wild Ones podcast, the show where we chat about bike stuff. I am Jimmy, and today I am joined by a possibly angry producer, Emily.
I'm not angry. Hello.
And Francis CADE.
Hello. I'm not angry either.
Are you angry, Jimmy?
No, well, I maybe I am now, perhaps.
Okay.
You set the tone.
Then once again, thank you to Garmin for supporting this podcast.
Right, so how's everyone doing? Drums excluded.
I'm cooked, which I'll explain why later. Very, very tired from a bike ride yesterday. What you guys been doing?
Well, we had snow, didn't we?
Yeah, we did have snow.
I very recently, in fact, last week or the week before, very recently, I got all-season tyres put onto my car because I was like, the winter's coming, the snow is going to be with us at some point because inevitably we get it for a bit. So I put some all-season tyres on and got to take advantage of them very soon afterwards, which was wonderful.
What do they have on? Little dupes?
No, that's illegal. You're not allowed little dubs.
Yeah,
it's illegal.
Is it really? Because in some countries it's mandatory, isn't it?
Yes, because they get actual snow.
Oh.
Whereas if you use little dubs on tarmac, it just shreds the road.
Right.
So in this country, it's actually illegal to use little dubs, but you can use chains or what do they call them? It's like shoes, snow shoes, if there is snow on the ground, which we obviously do get, but not like proper. So you can only use winter tires or all-season tires. And they worked really, really good. There was people sliding all over the place, and we were ragging it past them, doing power slides around the corners.
And why were you doing that?
Yeah, so you had a video to make, Benny had a video to make. I told Benny not to attempt to drive to work because people start doing crazy things like power sliding. So
Benny.
I drove into the studio, picked up everyone's computers and drove them to the respective people so they could do their job, and forgot my own one in the process.
Yeah. Francis, I also have a bone to pick with you, actually.
Why?
You made a video last week, the week before, called Non-Cycling Products That Are Good for Cycling. And in that, one of your recommendations was Amazon versions of Woolly Bullies. And Woolly Bullies, for people who don't know, are, in my opinion, the best cycling sock ever invented for winter. Bar none. Bar, because it's woolly.
Oh.
No, it's a merino wool sock. Not 100%. I don't know how much percent. But I think they're fantastic. And in your piece, you kind of said you could buy these, which they are expensive. 15, 20 quid, something like that for a single pair, versus these ones, which were about the same amount for 3 pairs. And I went, you know what? I'm going to buy them and see what they're like.
You complained about them at first.
Yeah, I have them on my feet right now. Do you want to see?
Are you warm?
I am warm, yes. I would describe them as like a 7 out of 10 versus, for me, a Woolly Bully is a 10 out of 10. I don't love the fit of them. And they're not quite as thick or warm, but they're pretty good. But I won't be throwing out my Woolly Bullies.
You only got 3 pairs for the money. I was finding ones which are like 5 pairs for the same money, 7 pairs for the same money. Like, well, how are they making socks this cheap and catching the merinos to make them out of? That's mad.
I don't know. They're not as thick. I don't think they're as good quality, but they're not bad either. So it's maybe like a light winter sock, whereas a Woolly Bully is like a deep winter sock.
Yeah, and it is like -1. So
I don't quite understand why. So I've bought loads of socks over the years to try and get ones to keep my terrible circulated feet warm. And usually, trying to save some money, I venture into the space of outdoor living and walking and those kind of things because they're generally better value. But and it's a bit like what you're saying with them not fitting as well. For some reason, walking socks are all... I've never bought a pair of walking socks that I've put on and gone, yeah, that's snug.
They don't fit. They're always big.
They're just kind of like odd shape, odd size. The ones, to be fair, the ones that you've just got are much better than some of the ones I've got.
My cycling shoes fit too well, so I can't put anything other than a summer sock on. Even like a thicker summer sock. I'm like, oh, these are a bit tight today. And then if you then ride in the heat in a thick summer sock, your feet then get fatter and then fill the shoe, and you're like, oh, this is the most painful thing in the world.
Some would say you might need a size up in your shoes.
Yeah, maybe, but then every shoe fits differently, doesn't it? It's very annoying. And then you bought one.
Yeah.
And then it's 300 quid for a new one. Other cheaper shoes are available. Right, let's do some news. First up, the financial waters remain a bit rough at Canyon. Latest figures show that their sales fell by £34 million in the first 9 months of 2025. That's 7% lower than last year, which means fewer people are spending money at Canyon this year than they did last year. Their parent company, GBL, attempted to give some explanation for these figures. Their sales have been hampered by recalls, is what they said. In fact, a recall on one of their e-mountain bikes last year cost in the double-digit millions. I always forget how big the e-bike market is. We live in such a weird little bubble, don't we? And it is actually huge. Demand in the US has softened because of tariff uncertainty, and they claim the bike industry is still overstocking bikes and then subsequently having to discount them heavily. Essentially, it's still a buyer's market, which can make it harder to compete. The news comes just months after Canyon's parent company slashed the brand's valuation by 43%. It's clear they're trying to get back on track, and they've reappointed the original founder, Roman Arnold, earlier this year to try and do that. Road CC says Canyon's now undertaking a comprehensive review of its product portfolio and the implementing efficiency measures to improve performance, whatever that means.
Yeah, it's interesting when you're talking about forgetting about e-bikes, because I think specifically when they're talking about the overstocking, they were saying that was particularly in the e-bike market as well. This overstocking, oversupply issue seems to be an ongoing thing since COVID. I mean, you've known this was a problem for 5 years.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was COVID.
So
stop overstocking, no?
So I think, like, technically the term overstocking is appropriate, but I think it implies that it's because people are buying too much stuff, which is literally what it means. But I think the driving factor isn't from buying too much stuff; it's from less people buying. I am convinced that there are less people riding bikes, and there's less people spending money because they have good stuff. And I have an example which backs up my thought on this. So last week or whenever it was, I went to Regent's Park and did some laps at Regent's, which I haven't done for a very, very long time. And I was expecting to see hyper bikes everywhere and hyper fancy cycling kit everywhere. And I was remarkably, but very happily disappointed. What there was a lot of metal bikes. There was a lot of disc brake bikes, but not only disc brake bikes, there was rim brake bikes there as well. So either everyone was in winter bike mode and has retired their summer bike because the weather was a bit gash, or people are actually going, a new bike isn't necessarily a cool bike. There are also really, really good older bikes that we obviously know exist. The bike industry, or bikes in general, have been so good for so many years now that if you've got a 10-year-old bike or a 5-year-old bike, the chances are the tech between that and something which is brand new isn't really that different.
I think you're right. And the winter bike is dead. It's been dead for a while. People ride their carbon wheels all year now, don't they? Whereas it used to be winter wheels, the blue Ribble.
But do people ride their summer fancy carbon bike with fancy group set and fancy wheels and fancy tyres in winter? Or do they downgrade to Ultegra Di2 and carbon wheels?
Is that where we've got to?
Well, in London, perhaps.
I have one question and one observation. The question is, why did you expect to see all the hyper bikes? Is that because when you were there, that's what went on? Is it different from when you were there, or are you looking at it through rose-tinted specs? Or
I think both.
Okay,
I think both. I think the influencer social media space, Instagram collective space was so peak when I was last swinging around Regent's Park that 50% of the people there were sponsored riders with sponsored team kit and sponsored bikes and sponsored this and sponsored that.
They're all in Newcastle now, aren't they?
Yeah, everyone's moved to Newcastle. But, not everyone, but a lot of the people that I was riding with and were around me and I used to see very regularly riding in Regents were probably part of some club or team. Loads of them were Red Hook Crit races and then also had road bike sponsors and things like that.
The observation was perhaps another reason for it is that people are scared of theft, because there was spate of theft in places like Regent's Park, literally the moped gangs coming up and nicking people's bikes. Do you think that it's just, these things are incredibly impractical, like £10,000 bikes that you're rocking around on. We were talking earlier, we were having a conversation with Benny about bike insurance and whether it's a good idea or not. And I mean, personally, me and Jimmy have always had it, and it's because you end up building up a sort of a collection. We go, okay, yeah, we'll insure them, but we're insuring bikes that are like $3,000 that I bought 6 years ago. Can you imagine having a brand new £10,000, £15,000 bike and insurance? I guess if you're in that price bracket, maybe it's pocket change to you. It's the same as a high value car or something like that, isn't it? But I wonder if there has been a reckoning because of the spate of robberies and stuff like that as well, or maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah, perhaps, but then it only comes down to loss, doesn't it? Because I would imagine your typical moped thief doesn't know the difference between a £2,000 bike and a £10,000 bike. So you're potentially still getting your bike pinched, but maybe it feels like less of a burden or less of an issue to replace it, whether you're doing it yourself or even via insurance. So, I imagine it's easier to get an insurance payout on a $2,000 bike than it is on a $12,000 bike. Maybe not. I don't know.
Going back to the idea of just like bikes and kit have been so good for so long now that people just don't necessarily need the latest stuff. I can definitely buy into that. My bikes are 5 or 6 years old and they're mint. Apart from the fact that they don't quite fit, they're so good. I can't imagine why I would ever need anything else.
I do honestly hate to admit it, but both of your bikes are fantastic and fit me perfectly. And whenever there's that question of you getting rid of bike, getting a new bike that actually fits you, every single time I just, in my head, I go, oh, I could just have that. And I go, no, I don't want that. That's not what, it isn't the bike I want. So it would be silly to take that as mine, but they are very good bikes, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm on a bike which is 5, 6 years. Maybe the frame's even older, and it's rim brake still, which shocks people. But it's not any. It's not like if I was racing, I get it. You probably want an aero bike, even if it's for the psychological gains and maybe disc brakes as well, because everyone else is on disc brakes. But for the riding that I do, I'm not going to be any faster on a 10 grand bike than this.
Didn't you send that bike in to be roasted by another YouTuber?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Grant, GC Performance, gave it 2 out of 10. It's savage. Yeah. He was like, why wouldn't you ride you in the position you are? You could get a Colnago Y1 RS for free. Like, I don't want that. Out of all of the top end bikes, definitely.
But that bike is.
I can
absolutely
appreciate
sick.
other people's Y1 RS. No, what, my one or the Y1 RS?
No, not the Y1 RS. Your bike is absolutely class.
Both of them are. I think I can appreciate someone else's Y1 RS. I just wouldn't ride it personally. If I was going to get one of the top end bike, it would be steep seat tube angle one. So either the Ridley or the Factor, just because they handle better in setup to my position. But for what I do, it is sick, isn't it? Like it's old Scott Addict, which is technically, I think it's before the Addict became an endurance bike. So it's like a weird frame that you can't buy that I got from Scott. So it's just like a old carbon race bike, rim brake, with some good deep head wheels. It's so stable in the wind. I can fix it all myself. It fits me really well because it's not 20 times longer than like all the new bikes. I just think it's great.
The only issue with that bike is the colorway on it is a bit all over the place. If you got that bike resprayed, it would probably end up being like a 9.5 out of 10.
That's bold, but maybe true.
I think Francis and me are probably the same. I would love to have a go on a Y1 RS, but there is nothing at all that makes me look at it and go, I want to own it. And it's totally fine if you do own it. You know, that's like, if that's your thing, that's absolutely cool.
I think there's a world of performance and wanting to get the Strava KOM and wanting to do a faster group ride through and off and beat your times and that kind of thing. I'm just not in that world anymore. And like I did it in the form of racing years ago. It's done. And if I came back to it, I would come back to it hard and start racing again. But the middle bit, which a lot of people engage in and love, and all power to them, get the Strava, beat your times, get you know PRs and that kind of thing, and train as long as you find it fulfilling and great. I've just moved into that zone of I ride a bike for fun now, and this one ticks every single box.
Yeah.
So what do I need the fancy? Which is like the fancy ones are impractical. Like what if I want to fiddle with my handlebars and change the angle and just like experiment with a new stem length, which I tinker with bikes all the time. I want to be able to do that, and I can with that one. Which if I had a Colnago, it'd be like, okay, right, it's a brake bleed and faffing around with the internal cable routing and all that stuff.
And £2,500 for a new handlebar and stem thing.
Maybe not that much, but yeah.
I think if I did get back into racing, which I'm obviously not going to do, I just love the idea of being the guy on a steel bike with alloy rims that's just like smoking people. I'd love to get so fit that I could go and turn up at some races and just smoke everyone in just like baggy kit and a non-aero helmet and a steel bike.
I don't know if that's possible anymore, Jimmy. I think this is why I don't want to come back to race. It's all, like I was pre-aero sock. And then now I look at it and it just depresses me. I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of things to think about that we didn't have to think about before. We just had 3-hour road race, a gel. Make sure you have some water, and then go. Would have gone so much faster otherwise. But if I did come back, I would be that. I've said this before on a podcast. I'd be the annoying guy with loads of aero and really long socks that are probably against the rules and super narrow handlebars within whatever rules.
You would honestly be insufferable if you got back into racing.
Yes. Well, I can't do it.
Good.
I have been thinking about buying a new bike, and if I did, it wouldn't be a top-end carbon racing bike because I already have a thing that does that, ticks that box.
Mm-hmm.
It would be modern technology. I would definitely want a bike with discs, and riding in the mountains is definitely less to think about and more fun if you got disc brakes. But it would be steel. I want a steel bike. It's going to last 1 million years.
I've started thinking that I want a steel bike as well. You guys are
Finally,
really good
I've converted
influences.
everyone.
I think what it was is when we were at the bike show and there was a sort of metal bike room and I picked some of them up, which were way bigger than my size. I was like, maybe this actually isn't the heaviest thing I've ever tried. Or maybe I've just been influenced. I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm still on the fence, but you are winning me over. You're very influential, you two.
Are we all going to get steel bikes this year then? No, not this year. Next year. We nearly are next year, aren't we?
Maybe.
We're being paid by Big Steel.
We are.
We should all get new bikes with a budget and see who specs the best bike.
Oh, like a Top Gear challenge.
It'll be me.
It won't. It'll be me, obviously.
It will. All my bikes are better than yours.
Literally none of them are.
The only problem is the paint job.
The bike that you want, I already own about 4 times.
Okay, next. The pro team, formerly known as Israel Premier Tech, is set to be rebranded as NSN Cycling from next year. So NSN stands for Never Say Never, and it's an international sports and entertainment company co-founded by Spanish football legend Andres Iniesta. Was that the right way to say it?
I feel like I actually know this name from when I used to watch football many years ago, and it's probably a mispronunciation, but I'm sure everyone used to say Iniesta.
Iniesta.
But I'm willing to bet that's actually a mispronunciation, and you got it right, I reckon.
All of the Barca fans can go at us in the comments.
Yep.
Anyway, the team's license will be owned by NSN, and it's backed by Swiss investment bank Stoneweg, or Stoneweg perhaps. Going forward, they've described themselves as a Swiss team with a Spanish structure. The changes follow protests this year over the team's Israeli identity and branding. They weren't state-owned, but Canadian-Israeli co-founder Sylvan Adams had called himself a self-appointed ambassador-at-large for Israel. His involvement in the team going forward isn't clear right now, but the latest announcement follows the departure of the team's main sponsor, Premier Tech. It was also reported this week that Factor is terminating its contract with the team too. So, yeah, a complete overhaul for that team, essentially.
I am interested to see what bikes move around in the pro space going into next year. So I don't think we know yet where Factor are planning on putting themselves, if anywhere. Scott might, there is a rumor that Scott Bikes might take over as bike sponsor.
For NSN.
For NSN, yeah.
Yeah, because they were at Q3 6.5, who are now moving to Pinarello, which is probably some sort of conjunction with Tom Pidcock going there.
There's also speculations of NSN signing Binyam Gamay, which I can't really process whether this is good or bad. It's just information at this point, isn't it?
Escape Collective have correctly pointed out the team logo is a rip-off of the Nine Inch Nails logo. It does actually look a lot like it.
It doesn't actually work. So basically the Nine Inch Nails logo is built around mirror symmetry. So the idea that you could put a mirror down the middle of it and it reflects itself.
So it's NIN and the second N is flipped backwards.
Is reversed. Whereas the NSN logo has done the same flip on the N, but the letter S doesn't have mirror symmetry vertically. It only does, no, it doesn't horizontally either, does it?
And then they've added cycling team underneath it in a serifed font.
Some branding agency would have got paid a fortune for that, I'm sure.
Wow.
It's not the worst I've seen. Put that out there right now.
I was reading about Nine Inch Nails the other day. A weird little article popped up. You know, Trent Reznor used to live... So Nine Inch Nails is basically Trent Reznor. The band changes, but he's the front man. And he accidentally rented the Manson murder house and then kind of liked that he was there and made it a recording studio and then left, and the house got demolished, probably for good reasons. And he kept the front door and he still uses it in his studio.
I don't know how I feel about that story.
It's weird, right? I mean, so is Nine Inch Nails. You can't deny the music's pretty good.
I've never heard of them.
You what?
I think there probably is a few Nine Inch Nails songs that you actually do know.
Go on, do a rendition. Go on, do a rendition,
I don't even
guys.
know what they are off the top of my head, to be honest.
The world is a vampire.
No, wrong band.
So that's Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest, I don't know enough about.
He's not. They're not biting. I thought I could get some funny song related content out of them.
Well, I think what you've learnt is that neither of us are big Nine Inch Nails fans, and we've got nothing for you. Sorry.
Fine. Well, I shall move on. Politics aside, I think it is quite an interesting turn of events that in the space of a couple of months, this team has gone from being the reason that Spain was threatening to boycott next year's Vuelta and the Tour Grand Depart, which was meant to be in Barcelona, to being a team with a Spanish identity associated with the Barcelona footballing legend and Spanish World Cup winner. You literally couldn't make it up.
You couldn't.
I also wonder what will happen now with Derek G. He is a Canadian rider and he was IPT's, one of their GC boys. He quit the team in August due to, quote, personal beliefs, among other reasons. And he said he's now facing damages of over 30 million euros in connection with breaking that contract. I wonder if in an attempt to kind of sweep this whole thing under the rug, whether that'll go away from it for him or whether they'll still pursue it. It'll be interesting to see what happens there.
It will, yeah.
Also, just on the topic of sports washing generally, this is the first time we've seen protests of this scale in cycling because of the involvement or association of a country. But in Israel's presence in cycling was uncomfortable for a lot of sports fans. And then it makes you think, okay, well, what about other sports washing? Because for example, UAE, there has been accusations this year of them being complicit in a genocide in Sudan. They're accusations that they deny, but their involvement in the Sudan civil war is contentious, to put it mildly. They also have a terrible human rights record, according to humanrightswatch.org. You can be put in prison for criticising the government. There's lots of activists, academics, lawyers serving lengthy prison sentences for free expression and association. Migrant workers face widespread abuses there, but they put a bucket ton of money into marketing that country externally as a fun place. It's opulent, it's a playground for the rich. Dubai chocolate, fancy malls, Tadej Pogačar, yay. Bahrain has a team. Rwanda hosted the Worlds this year. Both of those countries also don't have the best human rights records either. Where do we draw the line? Should it be that countries aren't allowed to sponsor sports teams? Where do you draw the line with this kind of thing? Sorry, I realise I just threw out a very big question, and it's actually a rhetorical question. I don't know. I don't expect you guys to have the answers to this, but it's just an interesting thought maybe that we can leave with our viewers.
Well, I definitely want to add that there at no point are we suggesting that countries such as the United Kingdom do not also have historic records of terrible human rights abuses.
I was just thinking that.
Like, it isn't about that. It's more a case of us saying, does it feel appropriate that a country should sponsor something? It does seem odd, doesn't it? Like a country saying, I'm going to sponsor this team.
Yeah, and Israel wasn't doing that. It was just the guy who owned it.
Just put their name in.
Rah Israel, yeah.
Rah Israel.
Yeah, it's really complex. It is complex, and we can't do the British exceptionalism thing of thinking that we are fantastic and the rest of the world is f***ed. It's really difficult, and I know a lot of people think that politics and sports should be kept completely separate, but
When have they not been?
When have they not been
used
completely
as
aligned?
tools?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. They are being used as tools by countries who want to they want us to talk about what's happening in the F1 rather than what's happening in their human rights record, you know? So if we all go, oh, we're not getting into the political discussion, then it just allows them to spend money on that. It's really difficult. I don't know what the answer is. It's just rhetorical questions. Going to throw them out and then going to move on.
Well, speaking of UAE sports washing, over to you, Francis.
It's official. Tadej Pogačar is a biological freak of nature. Did we know this already? But there's now numbers to back it up. Data published. Oh, my microphone ran away. Data published by the Journal of Science and Cycling this week says Pogačar's VO2 max is one of the highest on record. Obviously. Your VO2 max is a measure of how quickly your lungs, heart, and muscles can process oxygen and measure of aerobic fitness. It's recorded in milliliters per kilogram per minute, and the male pros tend to have a value mid-70s to the high 80s. But according to the calculations of Norwegian professor Ole Christian Berg, Pogačar's is in the 90s, potentially as high as 96. For comparison, Miguel Indurain, Tour winner, and Chris Froome were believed to have VO2 maxes of 88. Winner Greg LeMond was said to be around 93. Poggy can also push upwards of 6.7 watts per kilo for close to 40 minutes, even when fatigued. And when he's relatively fresh, he can hit 7 watts per kilo for close to 20 minutes.
Francis, weren't you saying your VO2 when you were trained was like 108 or something?
Yeah. Highest in the world.
Yeah.
Highest in the world. As was Coach Pete's as well.
Yeah.
Insane, off the charts. No, mine actually did come out quite high, which makes it even more embarrassing how I was at racing bikes. I was never a good bike racer. Let's just get this out on the internet. I was never a good bike racer. I was just really fit. I was strong, but that doesn't make you a good bike racer. Because as soon as everyone else is strong in the race with you, then you get binned. There's always Pete there who's like double hard and knows how to ride through a bunch, save loads of energy. And then if you're just a fit noob, then it doesn't get you that far unless you do it for many more years than I did. So
you needed the aero socks and helmet and tiny little glasses. That's all I needed.
If I had adopted that early.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned jokingly that Francis had the highest ever VO2 max recorded. That isn't true, but I do have some information on the highest ever VO2 max recorded. It is 97.5. And it was recorded in 2012 by an 18-year-old Norwegian junior cyclist called Oscar Svensson.
There's something going on in Norway, isn't there?
Is there?
Well, the scientist was Norwegian.
I see, okay. Maybe that's why he had an interest. So, as you can imagine, the news of his incredible VO2 max results received a lot of attention. The figure was actually disputed among scientists. The ones who did the initial test even sent the machine back to the manufacturers to make sure that it was calibrated correctly. It was. He was later retested in 2019 and it was 96.7. So it probably was legit. But whatever happened to Oscar, I hear you ask? Well, I shall tell you. I was interested, like someone who's got the highest ever VO2 max, who's a junior in cycling in 2012, I would have expected to hear his name.
Know his name.
Well, yeah, to still be hearing his name, essentially. So his story was he enjoyed some success. In 2012, he was junior TT world champ. 2013, he joined a Conti team. He got a few promising results. He came 5th in the under-23s Tour de l'Avenir, which is kind of seen as the baby Tour de France. It's the same route. 2014, he took a break, which then eventually turned into a full retirement. He essentially, he says, sort of lost motivation. He cited some illnesses and injuries, but also the immense pressure and expectation that came with this high profile result. So it was almost like the VO2 max became a poison chalice. He said, talent is in the head. That's what you create yourself. The physical is just a bonus. Ooh. So he stopped formal training. He was doing just like a couple of runs a week. And then they actually retested him because they were so interested in him. And he had a VO2 max score of 77, which is still incredibly high, untrained. And then the impressive thing about him was how high it could get when it was trained. But yeah, he decided to quit cycling, return to university and studied psychology.
Lovely.
Yeah.
You do see this sometimes with some of the pros, is that each generation there's a handful of people which are touted as being the next big thing. And when it doesn't happen, they just get absolutely slated for it. Like examples are, well, now is Remco, is that he's an unbelievably fantastic athlete, but he is in the shadow of Pogačar. And as a result of that, he's
only in the
almost
Grand
not
Tours, though, Jimmy. When it comes to sort of TT, he's best in the world, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but he's having to double down on it now. And then you've also got the Ineos rider. He had a crash, and
Egan Bernal.
Egan Bernal, yes. Like, you know, he was being touted as being the poster boy. He was going to be the next GC guy, and yes, he did win the Tour de France, and has had some horrible accidents. But that amount of that burden which comes with it must be absolutely horrible.
Remco is Metallica and Megadeth. Same situation. Where one band is so incredibly successful that didn't a member switch bands early on, and like he was never fulfilled because there's always this band that he could have been in who's so much better. Despite all the success that Megadeth had, it never hit the spot. And Remco is so talented, so good, but there's always Pogačar and Vingegaard ruining his comparison is the thief of joy.
I was just about to say the same thing. Comparison is the thief of joy, isn't it? He is an incredible athlete and has some amazing results in a cycling career to be proud of, regardless of external circumstances. But you bring in another two greats, and all of a sudden he's third in some races, which is also amazing.
Yeah.
The other bonkers thing is how young all these people are.
Yeah.
Like how old Remco is 25 years old. It's nuts.
And this guy was 18 when he did his VO2 max record. It almost certainly would go up.
Wonder what he's doing now, Oscar.
Maths.
No, psychology. It wasn't maths.
Oh, math. Okay.
Right, should we do Fluff Up of the Week?
It's my fluff up this week, which only happened yesterday, and it's why I'm so tired today. I went for a bike ride. 50 kilometers away was the first climb. We were heading into the mountains. Got there, and I did notice on the way that my bike was not shifting the way it should be, and then hit the first climb. Literally 2 minutes in, all gears stopped working. It was my left shifter.
Did you not charge your bike?
No, I'm very good at charging my bike. I have the little SRAM batteries and I have them on constant cycle. So when I go outside to leave for my ride, I put a brand new one because I'm scared they're going to run out of battery. But what I did not check was the coin batteries in the shifters themselves. But I connected the app to look at it on the climb while climbing the first climb, thinking, why is this not working? The right shift, I bought it at the same, it's all bought at the same time, new batteries. The left shifter had 0 charge in the coin battery. The right one had like 90, 80. So why?
I wonder if at some point we have accidentally switched our shifters. Which bike was it on? The rim brake?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got those shifters as well. Oh no, it's a different bike. So basically my right shifter stopped working the other day, but not on that bike actually. So that wouldn't have been it. So I have a hack for you that you could have done.
Use mechanical.
Yes, you could have used mechanical shifting. That is a very, very good point.
I wish I had mechanical on that bike. That's the next upgrade. That's the next upgrade it needs. A downgrade. Well, mechanical 105.
Well, here's a hack for you for your terrible bike that you have, as we've now established.
2 out of 10.
So what you could have done is whipped off your heart rate monitor and pulled out the coin battery from that because it's the same one.
Oh. Do you know how he knows this? Because he stole mine.
But this actually all came from world famous bike mechanic Nick. So I was due to go for a bike ride with Nick. I left my house, instantly noticed my shifter wasn't working, went back to the house, phoned Nick, and I was like, my bike's not working. I'm going to have to either go to the studio and get something else or we're not riding. He was like, just take a battery out of heart rate monitor. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, just take it out of heart rate monitor. I'm like, that is genius. So yeah, did that. It worked.
That is genius. Damn. That was more genius than my solution, which was do not try this at home. The front mech, I would just reach down and press the button. You press the button once and it just shifts. So that's fine. Okay, that increases gear range by a lot. There's a lot of options there. 2 whole gears. The rear, I was riding with Giles, so I just asked him to reach down dangerously towards the spokes that are spinning very, very fast in my back wheel and double tap the button on the mech to shift it to an easier gear. One press for the other way.
That is actually wild. You should not do that.
Well, no, 100% safety rating of my hack. It's fine.
100% success.
Yeah, and had quite a nice day. I mean, it was all mountains. It was literally ride down a long straight road for 50k, then mountains for the rest of the ride. So I'm glad my gears worked perfectly, kind of okay for the flat bit where I didn't need them. Hit the massive climb literally straight away. Oh no.
Well, to be fair though, if you have done an Everest on a BMX and you rode a fixie a lot, so you just make do with whatever you got. Fine.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Done worse.
Yeah. I also want to clear up something which may or may not be a fluff up. Last week, I said that advent calendars did not exist in the States, and apparently they do. I don't know. Maybe I was thinking of Christmas crackers, which do exist but aren't like a tradition like they are here. People are saying things in the comments, and I don't know.
What about Good King Wenceslas? Do you think he's in America? Do you know who he is?
Don't know. Write in the comments. Do you know who he is? Someone also said that Ribena exists. That is a straight up lie. I know it isn't. I've been there. I've looked on the shelves. They don't have shelves of squash.
No, they've got. It's secret. You know how we have like world cuisine aisle in
right, okay.
Sainsbury's. That it'll be there.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
And they'll sell PG tips for like 10 quid.
They've got big long rows of, Tesco's own, Robinsons, the posh ones, Ribena, all of that. It's like a massive aisle. And maybe you do have Ribena. Maybe it is available, but it's not available. It's not like here, bro. Okay. No, I'm just going to stop. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was in on the conversation. That's all I was trying to do. Okay. I've explained myself enough now. Should we do some unpopular opinions?
Oh, you've skipped one.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're running over on time now. But yeah, the other fluff up is I've lost my car key. I've lost my house key. I've lost my office key for this building.
And you've only recently just refound your work phone as well.
Yes, I had misplaced my work phone also, but I have found it. It was in my work bag. Who would have thought? I go through life losing things all the time, and I used to get incredibly frustrated about it, and I don't know how to fix it. So now I just accept it. And they will turn up. The car was at the house, so the keys are in the house somewhere. And that's all I need to know. And the universe will bring it back to me.
Why don't you have a key place?
We do.
We do.
Yeah.
You have to use it for it to be for it to work.
Things leave my hand without any acknowledgement is the problem. So by the time I go to the key place, the keys are already not in my hand, so what can I do about it?
Damn.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
I can solve all this for you, but I'm not going to.
An elastic stringy on her neck with a key.
This is it. I don't ever carry a handbag. I carry minimal things because if they're not literally attached to me, like the stringy things on gloves, I lose them. Today's episode of the Wild Ones podcast is supported by Garmin.
I've actually been using Garmin bike computers and watches for well over a decade now.
Yeah, me too.
I actually bought my first one in 2012. It was the Forerunner 410, and I was training for my very first triathlon at the time.
And how did that go, Jimmy?
Well, it would have gone great if I hadn't accidentally miscounted my bike laps and got myself DQ'd for doing one short.
Rookie error. You should have used the laps function.
I know. But my point is, Garmin's have been part of our lives for a long time now. So it was a bit of a full circle moment when they came on board to support the channel.
And they don't just make watches and head units with bike-specific GPS mapping and performance monitoring.
Nope. They also make power meters, heart rate monitors, smart bike lights that capture video and alert you when cars are approaching, tax indoor trainers, and so much more.
So thank you to Garmin for supporting this podcast. Should we do some unpopular opinions now?
We're going to read out some cycling hot takes, debate them, and decide if we agree or disagree. And the first one says, "Hello, my name is Kyle from Eugene, Oregon. My unpopular opinion has to do with bar tape. The industry has developed a lot, so why do I still have to change my bar tape if I want to replace my outer cable? Why is it still not long enough for 44 centimeter bars? And why do we still have to use the silly little piece to cover the back of the shifter clamp? I understand cork bar tape is cheap and works well, but I think we can all agree that it can be a silly consumable, and there should be other options available to remove and reinstall with smooth integration, like a lock-on mountain bike grip, but not as ugly.
Ugly band. Sorry, Eugene. Oh, no, wait, it's Kyle from Eugene.
Eugene. I thought the same. Eugene from Kyle, Oregon.
I think it's pronounced oregano.
There is bar tape that's reusable. I've seen it before from Path Less Pedaled YouTube. I can't remember what it was called.
I can tell you.
If you Google it, what's it called?
Grep.
Grep. And I'm guessing it's like rubber, like bar tape.
No, it's cloth stuff.
Oh, cloth. Oh, can you wash it?
I believe you probably would be able to, yes. You get 2 times 3 meter long rolls. That's a lot.
The problem with cloth tape, though, is that it adds no comfort. It adds a bit of grip, but it doesn't add lots of comfort. I do agree that cork tape is generally junk. And one of the problems is that the sticky bit is usually really sticky. And then if you try and take it off, it rips. So we do not use cork tape when we build CADE bikes. We use, so what we've used a lot is Triple B's Flex Ribbon, which is about 16 quid. This is not an advert. We've always bought it. But mostly because it wraps really well and you can unwrap it. If you're nice and, if you do it carefully, you can unwrap the bar tape and then reuse it. So we end up using bar tape multiple times because we're always building stuff.
But it still wears out. And I think the bike industry hasn't worked out what material to use to make an indestructible bar tape. And I think it is possible.
Okay, so like the wearing, yeah.
Yeah, in the world of guitars, you know, a plectrum or a pick, little plastic thing. You can buy the cheap ones, which most people do. And then like you lose them all over your house, obviously, but they wear out quite fast. You can buy a special one called a blue chip,
called the Pick of Destiny.
I haven't bought. Yes, basically the Pick of Destiny. It was like 40 quid for a guitar pick.
What?
I know. Yeah, but it does not wear out. It's made of like adamantium, and that's what you're paying for. The only problem with it, Jimmy, is that people do an Emily and lose the guitar picks. I do it with guitar picks. Usually they fall inside the guitar, and then you actually can't get it out ever. Because there's a black hole inside and it sucks it in, ends up in a different universe.
Are my keys in there as well?
Yeah. Inside my guitar. Yeah. My guitar just sucks everything in. But my point is, they managed to find some magic tortoise shell thing, but I think it is tortoise shell. Some sort of weird polymer that does not wear out, yet it doesn't break the string. Like the technology is there for that.
The hoof of a unicorn.
Yes.
Yeah, they're slaughtering unicorns just for you to have a 40-pound plectrum.
Well, I haven't actually bought one yet because I'm tight. So I bought a fake version, but I've just worn out my first one. So it's already a false economy.
It's like those fake woolly bullies, just not as good.
It's the fake woolly bullies. Well, I'm testing it just to see if I like the shape, and then I will upgrade. But anyway, back to the bar tape. We should find out what material, 1, can be rewrapped, 2, is grippy enough but not too grippy to upset Emily, and 3, doesn't wear out at all, like the blue chip pick.
Well, I think the Path Less Pedaled ones probably don't work. They probably last durability-wise for absolutely ages. We did have some tape which we got from Nick as well, which was made by Sala, I think it's Sala San Marco. It was like a recycled tape, and it wrapped really badly. It kept unwrapping, but it was designed to be able to be reused, and it is very durable, to be fair. But there's kind of this playoff, isn't it? Like cork tape wraps really well, but is not very durable and rips when you take it off. The BBB stuff, the Triple B stuff that I said, wraps pretty good and is durable-ish. And then this other stuff, which we've got, wraps really badly and is probably the most durable. I reckon the cloth tape probably wraps really well, but you're going to feel like you haven't got bar tape on.
Yeah, but bikes are a bit too comfortable these days anyway, aren't they?
They are, yes. Yeah. They are. Also, like, I would say just change your outer cables less as well. I think people just change their outers too much. On my Moss bike, I've had my Moss bike for something like 15 years. Granted, it hasn't done that many miles over the last 5, but the first 10, it did a lot. It still has the original outers from when it was first built. And it shifts, it did shift fantastic. I tell a lie, last time I rebuilt it, which was in the summer, it's now got E-tap on it, so that's not an issue. But until that moment, it did have cabled gears still.
I'll tell you what I would say, and it's the same argument I made the last time we talked about something to do with mechanics. Ain't my problem. It's the problem of my mechanic. In my world, I have never once changed my bar tape. That's not saying that my bar tape hasn't been changed. It might have done. Couldn't tell you how many times. It just magically appears with new bar tape. So
you have really weird bar tape standards as well.
Yeah, I can't stand it being grippy. Like all of the reviews of bar tape, it gets a good review if it's grippy. I don't want a grip to it.
I want to slide off.
No, it's not. I don't want to slide. I just want it to feel like I don't want to be stuck to it. It's like it's a textural thing. I think I hate all of the grippy ones. What's mine? You said mine was suede or something.
I can't remember.
It's not suede. It's not leather.
No, it's not. It's not actual leather, but it's like suede effect. It's really nice. I've got some on my Grosier now as well because it is very plush.
I want it to be squidgy and soft, but I don't want to stick to it. I've got very sweaty hands, though. To be fair, I don't need any extra stick power.
Steve says, my unpopular opinion is that bikes look good with mudguards. I recently fitted mudguards onto my road bike. It made me realise that although they aren't for every bike, a bike can look good with them on. Although my bike spends most of the year without them on, I think it looks great with them. And it helps me get out riding during the crummy weather months. Keep up the great work, Steve. I agree with Steve. People have to be... Why do people have to be so anti or pro mudguard? It's like there's no centre. I'm in the centre. I'm
in the centre as well. I think probably a lot of people are in the centre, but this section... encourages polarization, but like also why do you have to have an opinion on the look of a mudguard? It's so arbitrary. I don't know, this feels like a guy thing, not to gender things, but also who gives a f? It's a mudguard, who cares? I don't think I've ever looked at one and had an opinion about the aesthetic of it.
So I'm pro mudguard for my own bikes and for my own personal benefits, such as not getting a sodden chamois pad, which then obviously finds its way inside you and all over you. Inside you? Well, yeah, like have you not got back from a dirty ride? You probably haven't even noticed. Inside. Do you not pull your shorts down and have a look at your bum in the mirror? Because if you did, you would look like you'd pooped yourself. Inside? You don't look inside yourself. Do you have a special like probe to check? Or is Humans it through your skin? Osmosis.
To be fair, we went out on a ride this weekend without mudguards, got extremely muddy, and the back of you, you didn't have to look inside you to see that it looked quite concentrated in the bum area.
But you did anyway, just in case.
I looked like the back of me. I think because my hair was basically acted as a paintbrush for the mud, so I'd done a nice Picasso on my back.
You did, yeah.
I would like to have mudguards. They're a pain to fit.
I just don't get why it's so polarizing. Like, because some people, because I've posted a couple of, because I've got mudguards on my howler and I've posted a couple of pictures about them on Instagram, and people just like rage, like absolutely rage about how much they hate mudguards. And it's just wild. I do not get it. They're really functional. They're really good, and they keep me riding in worse weather. Like if it's hammering it down with rain, I don't think I can't be bothered going out. I go, well, I'm not going to get that wet, really.
It's because they're angry because they spend so much of their time cleaning their bike in the winter because they haven't got mudguards. Although, having said, like, I am that person with no mudguards, and I just spend loads of time cleaning my bike. But I'm not angry about it. I enjoy it almost.
I do think that so a road bike that doesn't have mudguard mounts can only have clip-on mudguard mounty thingies, and I think they are probably the reason that mudguards have a bad reputation, because they don't work fantastically, because it's very rare for them to be full coverage, and they don't look the most pleasing, whereas a bike with mudguard mounts and proper long fitted mudguards, it looks great. It's functional. I'm all for it. I want them on everything.
You want that bit that goes down at the back of the BB, because then it stops all of your drivetrain and bike from getting sprayed with crap. It's not so much me that I care about because you're just, okay, you're wet, fine. But it's the bike cleaning afterwards that can be avoided. The cargo bike is an amazing example because it has real proper big fat mud guards on, and you can ride that in the rain, and you basically don't need to clean it afterwards. You can just put it in the garage.
Well, I think the bit that people massively underestimate with mudguards in the rain is the front mudguard. If you have a long flapped front mudguard, then you don't get the toe splash. So the mudguard stops you getting the flick up from the front wheel, which is how your feet get so wet when you're riding in the rain. Mudguards are great.
You said mudguards about 7 times in that sentence.
Mudguard.
Do you know what? I have noticed that even within the mudguard elitism, people are also get triggered by whether you use the word fender or mudguard. I'm assuming fender is an American word, and I've used it a couple of times just because I prefer writing it. It's a nicer word to say than mudguard. Fender's nice, and also an excellent guitar brand.
Usually it's America that makes a word like mudguard. Like sidewalk.
Or Germans.
Yeah, Germans very much like say it as it is, I think, as well. We know now from our friend Steffi.
Oh, like cable salad.
Which is what?
When a big bunch of giant cables all tangled together.
Oh, a cable salad.
Yeah, there we go.
What were we saying? Mudguards.
Fender.
Mudguards.
Well, on the subject of Fender, I really want a Fender Jaguar guitar. And if you're looking for an idea for me for Christmas...
Oh, do you remember when Francis... I was thinking about this the other day. Do you remember when Francis got you a guitar?
I bought you a guitar. Now you want another one already?
Well, yeah, I do. But you know how it works. You know better than anyone what happens with when you think about another guitar.
It's like bikes. Same as bikes. I'll get you a £40 pick.
Yeah, excellent. Or maybe I'll get you one.
Oh, that would be a good gift. Blue chip.
Oh yeah, that was on the take that we didn't have the audio on, so we need to explain the £40 pick again.
No, we've got that. We've got that.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, but it's not going in because we're going to ditch that whole section.
Oh, what?
We can't finish this. It's only halfway through and then it'll cut out. It doesn't make sense, unless it does make sense.
Yeah, I think it does.
Oh, God.
For the viewers at home, I have only just been told that there is a button on the side of my microphone, which is not a button, it's a light. Carefully rotating to show the camera. That light apparently is a button, and if I press that, which I have pressed it lots of times in the past, it turns my microphone off. And we were wondering why my microphone kept turning off, which I've been using for months.
Why we end up recording this podcast 3 times.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, dear me.
So yeah, the pick story no one's going to have heard.
Oh, they might have.
I think the pick story's in there. It was great.
Do you have an unpopular opinion? Well, send it to wildonespodcast@cademedia.co.uk and it might feature on a future episode.
And don't forget, you can send us your stories and questions for listeners' takeover, like this one from Will in Iowa. He says, unpopular opinion, European riders are scaredy cats compared to Americans. All jokes aside, I'm mainly curious about how in nearly every episode of this podcast, you all mention how treacherous road riding is in the UK. Thinking of my experiences riding in America, it confuses me. Firstly, in my town, we have loads of paved riding trails. Is there a lack of that in the UK? Is the danger in the UK from the smaller, denser roads or the lack of bike lanes/shoulders? Having been to Europe, that is my first thought, less road to share. Compared to America, the roads are tiny over there. Or is it just that the UK drivers are wankers and go to war with riders? Good use of that word. Good use. Spot on. Love the pod. You should check out the Ride Across Iowa Ragbri in July. It's the largest organized bike ride in the world.
Oh.
This is Danny, my wife's uncle, Mike. Every time I see him, tells me I need to do Ragbri. And I've told him, if you're listening, Mike, I will do it with you if you do it as well.
That's cool. The fact they can organise the world's largest bike ride tells you that, yes, there probably is better ways to ride.
Well, yeah, whenever they try and do a closed road ride in this country, people start throwing pins and putting up fishing wire across the roads and stuff.
Yeah, the question was, is there a lack of paved riding trails yes, we do have some. To be fair, there are some great riding trails, but it's a little bit few and far between. Sort of depends what area you ride in, and also some people do want to ride on a road, because a lot of our trails aren't paved. Is there danger in the UK from smaller, denser roads or lack of bike lanes / shoulders? Yes, also. I have some facts from the internet. The UK is physically 1.7 times bigger than the state of Iowa. However, the UK's population is more than 22 times bigger than the state of Iowa. This is 3.1 million people versus almost 70 million people. And we do try to keep the majority of those people down south, but unfortunately they do spill out sometimes. Yeah, also the UK does include Northern Ireland as well, which is a completely separate landmass. So we're really, really small. And generally that means, there's just less space. Our roads are a lot narrower. So it means that, and we are very car focused as a country, the same as the States, but our roads aren't very big. So there becomes a bit of a tussle for like overtaking and stuff like that. They're not straight long highways. A lot of all our roads also were built a really long time ago, so they're not great just for cars, to be honest. In a lot of cases, it's why I wonder whether the driverless car thing will catch on here, because it is very windy. Again, like I'm not trying to rag on the UK. We are great for a lot of reasons. we could be better for cycling, I think. I do wonder though whether people do just like to, as British people, we are generally quite pessimistic, I think. And I think people do just like to rag a little bit on the places where they live. Because like, I remember Steffi did the same thing about riding in Berlin, whereas we loved it, but we were there as like tourists on holiday and we didn't get to see the full picture. And she really likes riding here and we don't like it as much. So, the UK definitely isn't all bad. We have some awesome off-road trails. We have some awesome bike parks. They're mainly in Wales and Scotland. And one thing you can always do is stop for a pub lunch, which is a lovely thing.
Most drivers in the United Kingdom are fantastic and give you space and are not
wankers.
That. But there is the extreme opposite in that some, very few number, go out of their way to make it as unpleasant for you as possible. And it's the term we use a lot is buzz passing. And it's the idea that they drive as close to you as they possibly can intentionally so that you have an unpleasant experience. And that happens too much, and therefore it becomes absolutely terrible. If you just discount those people, then riding on the roads is fine.
I wonder, and this is incredibly anecdotal, but like I feel like you say that and Nick says that, and that isn't my experience at all. And I remember once, I don't know whether it was Francis saying to me, oh, maybe that's because you're a woman and people see you more as a human. So maybe you guys should all just start wearing like long ponytails, like clip-on ponytails or something like that. Because I do think that I am actually treated quite well on a road. And again, maybe it's completely anecdotal, or maybe I just see the positive side of things. But I actually don't think I think people give me a lot of room.
I genuinely love the idea of going for bike rides with a fake ponytail and seeing if it makes a difference. Genuinely, I think I might even do it.
That is the kind of science that YouTube needs.
Yeah, but you know how there's those studies that show, wearing normal clothes humanizes you. I think people generally do have a picture of like what a cyclist is. And I think that picture probably is a man, maybe even a white man. And maybe if you don't fit into that picture, that comes with some annoying things. But maybe one of the benefits of that is people go, oh, it's a person. Oh, it's a woman. Oh, and it's a bike, rather than bloody cyclist. I don't know.
I legitimately get better respect from drivers if I like wave and use my arm more. So I do hand signals all of the time now, just in a hope that the person behind me will go, oh, it's actually a human. It's not just a knobhead cyclist.
It's a shame you have to.
Oh, so frustrating.
This is mad, isn't it?
Because I'm at the point now, because you know how hilly it is, and I want to be out of the saddle riding, and if I hear a car, I now sit in so that I can get a free hand so I can start waving at them so that they can be like, oh, yeah, okay, it's a human. The challenge, frustrating that I have to do that.
What you have to do is just look different. Don't look like a normal cyclist. When I did my ride across the States, I was with my friend Justin, who rides a hand bike, and we were towing a wheelchair, and even better, we had a stick stuck to his bike with a Star Spangled Banner flapping, which was kind of cool because we're in America, but also protection. It's like precautionary measure for some of the states in America that we were going through. Just be like, no, we're friendly. And the response was almost fantastic the whole way through. Like we maybe had a couple of people shout some stuff out the window, but then they're miles away, not buzz passes, because maybe they're scared of getting sued if there actually was an accident. Perhaps that factors into it. On the whole, I've done a lot of riding and my wife's American, spend a lot of time in America. I think the drivers are generally friendlier, probably because there is space on the roads. Like nearly every single road has a big enough shoulder that you can sneak into. But the people are more distracted generally. I think the crackdown on phone use in the UK really has stopped people from being distracted and being on their phones, whereas in the cities, at least, in California, people are just distracted on their phones, but all the cars have some sort of self-driving thing built into them anyway, so I suppose at least there's that.
Interesting.
It feels safer for whatever, if that's worth anything.
Yeah, I think you're so right in terms of, because I think the problem here if there's an opportunity to pass safely, people always give you lots of room here. When there's not an opportunity and people have to hang back a little bit,
they don't. They just go anyway.
They rage or drive through you. Yeah.
Sometimes they don't, and I guess that's maybe what you get in places where they have wider roads, bigger shoulders. Is just there's an opportunity to be a nice guy, but also not inconvenience yourself. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think that the UK is too bad to ride in.
That is all for this week. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode. Thank you and goodbye.
I'm going to press my button. Press my secret light
Don't
button.
press the button.
Don't press the button.
I didn't realise you didn't know that was a button the whole time, Francis.
Guys, why would I think that's a button? It's a light. Lights are not buttons. You have to choose one.
No, it makes sense. When you say it like that, it does make sense.
The designers of this what is it? Sure, spelt wrong. Fucking idiots.
I agree. I'm glad we finally got to the bottom of it, because I'm going to be glad to not have to record this podcast 3 times every week because something goes wrong.
It gets worse every time as well.
So annoying. Anyway, goodbye.
See ya.